Joined now by head coach for the Guthrie Blue Jays. Well, got the first one in.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we got it in there. Not the result we wanted, but we had some good moments in there nonetheless. Quite a bit of growing. Obviously, we made some freshman mistakes, and that's the majority of our lineup.
Yeah. We were talking, Curtis and I were talking a lot. You got these young kids. Getting mat time's the most important thing, obviously, for these young kids. You go back for a second, coach. Talk about junior high. Junior high competed very well, and
junior high did wonderful. They did the same thing we did, where we gave up too many bonus points, especially late there. When all you had to do is, we're getting beat, we shouldn't give up a fall and give up that 6 points. Maybe we give up 3 or 4 instead. I believe it was, and right off the top of my head, can't remember his name. He did a great job. He let me think. One of our kids, he didn't give up the fall for about 4 minutes of that match, and that's a 2-point difference during a duel, and at the time it would have tied it up. I believe it was 24-24 or something to that nature, but ended up we were ahead 24-22, I believe, at that point, and then we kind of gave up. They got on a roll and really pinned some of their kids when our kids had them on the back. We just need to finish out the match. And a lot of those guys are young. A lot of the 7th grade and a couple of 8th graders were there, were first or maybe even second-year kids. So not a bad job. We got room for improvement. So
of course, we had a lot of teachable moments there from the duel tonight for the kids in the room in the junior high. Move up to the high school.
Yep.
Again, very young squad.
Yeah, starting off the top of the lineup, we had Musil versus Jacob Houston. Houston had typically he's a kid that wrestles summers a lot, and his dad's a former coach, so he knows his stuff. Has always been typically kind of a smaller kid, and he runs out there at 106. I thought he was the full size there. And Musil, he kind of fought the whole time, didn't give up 6 points. He did give up the major decision with a blanking of 11-0, but at the same time, that's a whole lot better than giving up the 6 points, and maybe that was our first step there.
We battled all the way, and of course we come up. Of course, we had a forfeit at 113. And AJ comes back at 120 and competed.
Yeah, he's kind of exciting. He if anybody likes to scramble, it's AJ.
Yeah.
He does some funky stuff. Sometimes his fundamentals, I don't know if he doesn't pay attention to me or if he just likes to have a little bit too much fun. But he's one of those guys that is kind of fun because you never know, he'll throw something from left field that isn't typically going to work, and it works for him, and really, he put the kid on his back, and if we had a little bit more time, maybe we get the fall there and change the momentum there.
But competed great.
Yeah.
Came back at 126. Of course, Kurgan Cornwell, who I have it on good information, is pound for pound might be the strongest kid in the room.
He gets out there, and I believe the kid he was wrestling was Connor Mayers.
Yes. Yeah.
He gets out there, and I thought Mayers looked about twice the size of us, but Kurgan is unbelievably pound for pound the strong kid.
Oh, he's unreal.
And that kid shoots in. And I don't think Connor Mayers was expecting the same thing, and kind of got a kid that was as strong as him. And Kurgan, he doesn't have a real good shot just yet. He doesn't open up, but man, he'll snap the heck out of your neck and go around, and that's where he kind of shines is defensively right there. And on top, we kind of put him on his feet a lot in that match, trying to get to a tech fall.
Another freshman.
Yeah, another freshman, and he's going to get improvement. He's going to develop that shot, and Coach Young has really been on him about shooting in practice, and we can see some improvements. He's just not quite comfortable yet, so we got a long season to go.
Then, of course, at 132, we had Tyler Hickman for the Blue Jays face Connor Harmon for the Timberwolves. And that one didn't end up the way we'd like, but, again, Tyler got in there and competed.
Yeah, and Tyler had some opportunities there early. Runs a front headlock. And he kind of he got into the front headlock and started running and then lost confidence in it. I just if he just grabs that thing and runs his feet with a hip down a little bit, and I think he gets that near side cradle a little bit easier and turns him over, and it goes our way again. But yeah, it didn't turn out like we wanted. I believe Connor Harmon had the fall for him, and so that was one I expect Tyler to improve and come back off that one.
Of course, and then 138, we have the team leader, the senior, 3-time state qualifier, 2-time state placer, Alex Nelson, came out and got a little time in on the mat tonight.
Yeah, he looked like a state placer, state champ type of kid. He definitely went out and had a chip on his shoulder this evening.
Yes,
he was ready to wrestle. He comes out and like a flurry, hits a couple pass bys and collar steals and gets the kid where he won't tie up with us, and we hit a blast double and we're out. I believe it was about 16-4, 16-5 at that point, and he did what he was supposed to as a senior, get out there and get the fall. So really a pretty good showing from him, and then his workout partner's right behind him, Colby Graves.
Colby Graves comes up, wrestles up.
Yeah, he wrestles up.
45 and went against Jake Thornton for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about Jake Thornton just yet. Colby, he does a wonderful job. He's tough as nails. He's about like Gumby.
Yeah.
But he's been working out with Alex Nelson in the room, and he's actually a little bit lighter than Alex is typically. But we bounced him up, see if we could, get 3 points there, and he went out there and Thornton caught us. I mean, I didn't know much about him, and really a stronger kid than I expected out there.
Yeah.
But
of course, we had a forfeit of 52, which is unusual.
Very unusual.
Usually got about 8 kids stacked there.
Yeah, 145, 152.
Yeah.
We're usually stacked there, and that's the usually the problem. And this year we've got about 406 pounders, and I've never experienced that in my entire wrestling and coaching career of having that many.
Yeah. But, come back at 160. Of course, the guy that you said was kind of your up-and-comer.
My sleeper.
Your sleeper, Joe Curavilla, comes out, wrestles a great match, scores points for the team.
Yeah, he did a good job. 3-1. I wanted him to open up. He's really got a pretty good double leg, and he's really fun to watch on a scramble. If anybody's kind of jumped in there on these scramble drills and everything, he's the one that has done that and really bought in on having some fun and being able to scramble a little bit like these college guys have. He's kind of fun to watch. I'd like to see him open up a little bit more on his feet. I think he's a lot better offensively than he showed tonight with 3-1, but hey, we'll take the victory.
Take the victory. 170, a tough task for anybody. Jerron Rose facing OU commit and state runner-up from last year, Hayden Hansen.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves.
That was a big, tall order with Jaron to go out against Hayden Hansen.
Yeah.
Hayden, he's give it to him. The kid is super tough, does what he's supposed to. He wrestles in summers with Coach Howard and goes all over the place and wrestles a lot.
He's throwing some heavy hands out there. He was battling.
No, he definitely – Jaron's – and we call him the X Factor there, and the X Factor went out there and that's one thing about Jaron. He's not going to take – he doesn't care that your name or whatever. He's going to wrestle you. So
he's not going to back up, is he?
No, not at all. And that's why I was pretty confident, throw him out there against Hayden, and we get what we get. But, Jaron, you got to hand it to him. He's a tough kid.
182, another freshman, Dane Jenkins, up against Jacob Boren for the Timberwolves. Tough loss tonight for Dane.
Yeah, Dane, is typically, he's not used to being out-strengthed a whole lot. He's a pretty strong kid, and I think Jacob Boren here, he got in on deep single leg and actually, kind of half throw a cradle, and we start falling to our back and kind of getting a knee to the face on the way down. Didn't mean to, but we kind of got a knee to the face, and we couldn't get off our back from there on. But
another freshman, it's tough. I made the comment. Here's Dane, 14, wrestling an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Do you know how I knew the guy was 18?
How do you know that?
He has a tattoo on his shoulder.
You mean you wouldn't sign off on a tattoo?
Well, not me personally, but you never know.
I'm waiting for Pruitt to come back with one.
Well, you're gonna be waiting a while.
All those tough guys have tattoos.
Well, the 220-pound Jose Perez goes out, gets a fall for us, Coach.
Yeah, he does a good job. I really liked Jose. He came out for us about 2 years ago and worked his tail. And really had a pretty good season-ish, and he was right there with Vincent Norris when he was out, and couldn't, we had some Votech stuff he wanted to do last year and didn't come out for wrestling. Plus we had Connor Howard and some guys in front of him, and he kind of sees the big picture there. And so he didn't come out last year, but I kind of, hit him up the bus stop this year and said, hey, why don't you come down to the room and we get some competitive guys. And I really enjoy Jose Perez being in the room. He's kind of the vocal kid of our group and really gets the people going in the room and almost a team leader. besides Alex.
Yeah.
He's the guy that guards the door and tells you you don't go out and, unless something's broken, you don't go out that door. So.
Bone's not sticking out, you're not leaving the room.
Exactly.
Then we go to the big boys, the 285-pounders, the heavyweights, Alvis Wilcott's tough match tonight. A little bit, the big boys, sometimes the gas don't carry you all the way through 3.
No, we were outweighed by about 20 pounds, and Alvis is super athletic for about the first minute.
Yeah.
And he knows this, there's nothing, bagging on him or anything like that. But we've got to get our air to last more than that. And that's part of pacing a little bit with those big guys. But he's super athletic. He may be on a sprint, the fastest guy in our room. He's up there with, Alex Nelson and Ide Alexander in there. So, for a guy that weighs 260 pounds, that's something to be said. So
I told somebody, usually we're trying to get football players to come wrestle. We need to get him to play football next year and wrestle.
Yeah,
it'd be good to get him out there.
I've told him that he'd be an excellent nose guard, and he would mess up some running plays in a hurry.
Of course, Coach, as we said, tough duel tonight.
Yeah.
Going into this weekend, we start off easy. Go to the Perry tournament. What were you thinking?
Yeah, that's those guys up there, I think when you graduate from there and you win a state title or two,
you kind of have to go back, don't you?
Somewhere in there, I signed a contract to go back. I'm not positive where, but it's written in blood or something.
You're obligated.
I'm obligated, and anyways, we're going back, and actually, they picked up Lawton Mac this year, so it's another 5A team in the mix. They'll have Stillwater there with about 3 guys that are nationally ranked in the top 5, top 2.
I told Curtis and I said, go to the Perry tournament where there will be about 100 state champions represented.
Oh, it's insane, and the seeding, they do a good job as far as they kind of pre-seed it a little bit, and then if you have an argument, when we get there, it's not a huge deal. We kind of have some votes or whatever.
So do we have our seeds now?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Really, about the only one I'm going to be able to get seated right now is probably Alex. Yeah, and he's the one that has the resume to do it.
Absolutely.
And the rest, we'll have to take our lumps until we can prove something. And most of the freshmen are going to go over to Shawnee this weekend. So
and then, of course, we come back on the 18th, going to go to the Del City Duel.
Yes.
Junior high and the high school. That's at Del City.
That's at Del City.
And then we'll take a break.
Yeah, and then we'll get a little break to get improvement.
A little Santa Claus time.
Yeah, Santa Claus.
That's right.
Always like Christmas break. 2 and 3 days. The kids don't like it as much as I do, but we get a lot of bonding time in. We travel quite a bit. We'll go to Norman North. We'll go up to the Perry Room. We'll go to Yukon and spend some road time. Really try and get competitive with somebody outside our room. I think that's maybe the one thing that came up and bit us tonight was that Norman North, they had a couple duels in front of us.
Yep.
And we looked like we'd been wrestling, in our room, in which we had. So to get out and get a competition, and they'll come out a little bit with a little bit of fire next time, a little bit more aggression, I think. So.
Coach, we appreciate it. Got the first one in the belt. Heading to Perry. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, Coach.